Adam, how's it going?
How you doing, Rick? Great to see you again.
Yeah, every time you come in here, I end up spending a lot of money. How much you want for it?
You better brace yourself. $65,000, $2,500, $1,600. I'm gonna offer it to you for $47,000.
What kind of treasure this time?
This is the original manuscript for the governing of New York as a colony in 1755.
Okay.
It has laws against robbery and blasphemy, profaneness, adultery, fornication, polygamy, incest, swearing and drunkenness, so we're lucky it doesn't cover Las Vegas. So this is the original document from the King of England for the governing of Colonial New York in 1755. So I got this in a trade with an old master dealer who must have had it at least 40 years or so. You would expect a document like this to be in the archives, like the Declaration of Independence, but you can find amazing documents of American history that have somehow escaped through time and still are in private hands. I'm looking to get $60,000 for the document.
You have something really, really special here. So you got the seal from the King of England and instructions to Sir Charles Hardy, Knight, Captain General, and Governor of New York. Incredible. It was a very pivotal time because in 1755, the British government was actually losing money on the colonies, and that's why the taxes ended up getting raised. And believe it or not, the American colonies were actually taxed less than British citizens back in England. If the British were just gave us a little representation and just treated us like regular British citizens, we would probably still be in England today. Our big complaint was we have someone 3,000 miles away telling us what we're gonna do. We were just like, yeah, I don't think so.
Exactly.
It's really impressive. I mean, I know documents like this generally don't exist outside of an archive somewhere. How many pages is this?
Yeah, it's, I think 100 pages or so.
Okay. I truly believe it's real. Of all things in the world to fake, why the hell would you fake this? Have you seen another copy of this?
I'm pretty sure it's a unique surviving copy.
Okay. So how much you want for it?
Yeah, that's always the question when you're selling something of great importance. I would ask $60,000 though.
Okay. Let me just have a friend of mine look at this. He might know where it came from or if there's another copy of it. I mean,
Sure.
if it's one-off, it's definitely worth more money, okay?
Sure, no, it's an expensive but very important piece, I can understand.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I'm really interested to hear what Rick's expert has to say. You know, somebody else's perspective on something so complicated and so interesting is really important.
So, we have the 1755 instruction book on how to run New York.
From George II. This is interesting. These documents were given to every royal governor of every colony. The king would basically say, these are my instructions to you as governor.
So how is this not in an archive somewhere?
That I don't know. I would expect to see this in the British archives. From an historian standpoint, these are the most important documents for understanding the British governance of the colonies.
Are there any other copies of this in private hands that you know of?
Oh, no. And it's real. And it's got the king's seal on it.
Yeah.
And it's countersigned, and you see the first signature on there. That's William, Duke of Cumberland. That's the king's youngest son. This is the kind of historical document that is important. These instructions were basically the law of the land. They became, as we became a country, the laws that went into the constitutions of the individual states. They are extraordinarily important. This is cool. I'm sorry, this is just downright cool.
It takes a lot to excite him.
No,
This is neat.
Okay, I'll let you know if I get it, okay?
All right, please do.
All right, so the dollar amount. You know, the problem with this, there's only one of them,
Sure.
okay? It's really, really hard. I'll give you 20,000.
Yeah,
How's
no.
that? I mean, there's no comparables. I don't know what it's going to go for in auction.
I mean, I'd come down to like 40, and that would be like the floor of the floor.
I'd go 25. It's a one-off. I don't know what I'm going to get for it in the end. And at 25, I'm gambling. It's my last cash offer.
You know, I can't take 25 now.
All right. If you change your mind, let me know.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm gonna hold on to the document, and I think it's much smarter of me to decline an offer now. Maybe I'll get a much better price.
Hey, how can I help you?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I got this today. A signed Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth was the greatest ever.
Not the greatest. Ty Cobb was the best baseball player ever.
Joe DiMaggio.
No, Ty Cobb.
DiMaggio.
Over 10 years, batting over 400.
I get nothing for that. I've come down to the pawn shop today to sell my signed photograph of Babe Ruth. It's worth lots of money. I'm hoping to sell it today for $7,000, but I would take as little as $5,500.
Where in the world did you get this?
20 years ago, I was asked to remove boxes from an old lady's home, and before I tossed them in the dumpster, I opened them up, and I found that.
All right. Babe Ruth, he's probably the most famous baseball player of all time. There's the legend that he said, I'm going to hit a home run. I'm going to point to where I'm going to hit it. It sort of looked like he pointed to left field and then hit the ball out there. But there's really no proof or anything like that, but it's a great legend.
Sure is, yeah.
He had some heartburn with Boston.
When Boston traded him, that's what caused the curse of the Bambino.
Babe Ruth started his professional baseball career in 1914, and in his 21 years in the majors, he set all kinds of records. First to hit 60 home runs in a season, 714 career homers. He's got records people are still trying to break.
It's not really a baseball card, it's just sort of like a photograph. It says from Babe Ruth to Eleanor Ruth Dobson. Do you know who that is?
She came up as a vaudeville actress in the era where he played in baseball.
We have Babe Ruth in one ink and this down here in another ink, which throws up red flags, you know what I
I
mean?
never noticed that.
Have you ever had the signature checked out?
No.
It's gotta be one of the most forged signatures of all time.
When it comes to sports autographs, it doesn't get better than Babe Ruth. So you have to get something like this checked out by a pro.
Let me get someone down here to check the signature out. Everything checks out, we'll try and figure out a price.
All right, sounds
Okay.
like a deal. Appreciate it. I'm a little bit nervous because of the two different pens being used, and I'm hoping that at least Babe Ruth is real.
Hey, Drew, how's it going?
Good. See you, Rick. Well. Babe Ruth. The guys call me in when they have specific problems with autograph memorabilia, and I'm the guy for the job. You know, he had a great history. He basically grew up in a boys' school, mainly because he was so unruly, his parents couldn't handle him, you know. I think he was drafted when he was 16 or 17 years old. He had to be adopted to get into the league. And of course, all the home runs, just a legend. Well, Babe Ruth is probably the biggest name for sports memorabilia. His autograph is extremely valuable. Let's take a closer look, see what we have. There's certain areas of Babe Ruth's signature that he always does. It's very consistent, and those are the things you have to look for. We can see that there's a different ink being used for the word from, and also the inscription at the bottom.
Have you ever heard of Eleanor Ruth Dobson?
I know about his two wives he had. He had two daughters. He had only one sister that survived from infancy, and this is not one of them. So it could be just a coincidence, but I don't know who this individual is. This was done after the fact by somebody else. The bottom part is not written by Babe Ruth. One of the things that Babe Ruth always did, he's always wrote his capital R larger than his capital B. The stem of the small case B is one of the tallest structures, and that is occurring here. One of the things the forgers always seem to miss is the epsilon E. It comes off the baseline and there's a sharp little angle to it. If you take all the evidence in its totality, yeah, this thing's definitely authentic all the way.
All right, that's cool, man.
Sweet.
Well, after looking at all the details of the signature, it's absolutely 100% authentic. However, if you look at the inscription on it, that was definitely written in later by somebody else. So what I would recommend in a situation like this, because it's not a baseball card, I would cut off the bottom part, and it'll look beautiful.
Really? Okay.
So, Drew, what do you think it's worth?
It's a beautiful signature. It's a nice photograph of his later years as a player. I would say anywhere between $2,000, $2,500 retail.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about a fair price.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you, Rick. Take care, guys.
So what do you want to do with this?
Sell it.
And how much you want for it?
Negotiable, for sure.
Okay, I'll give you $1,000.
$1,000. Can we do better?
No.
13. Meet in the middle, 1250.
I'll tell you what, I'll go $1,100 on it. I mean, that's fair. It's gonna sit around here a while.
1200.
1,100 is gonna be it. And I have cash money, $100 bills.
Sure, I'll do it.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
let's
you.
go write this up.
Thank you. $1,100 was less than what I was hoping for, but in the end, I made money in Vegas, so I can't complain.
Can I help you?
Brought this in, see what you thought about it. This is from August 1918, exactly 100 years.
And it's, what is it?
New York Times newspapers, the full newspapers, picture sections, box scores, all sorts of things.
Do you have really big bookcases at your house?
I have a complete set of New York Times newspapers from the month of August of 1918. I got them in the early 80s, and I've had them ever since. If I'm able to make this sale today, I'm probably going to give it to my wife because she's going to Hawaii next month.
This is pretty cool. This is the New York Times. You gotta remember, this is 1918, and over 90% of the people in the world would never travel more than 50 miles from where they were born. There was no internet back then. So newspapers with picture sections like this was really fascinating to people because they got to see different parts of the world they would never get to see. Wow. The picture sections here are amazing. The libraries all around the country had an archives with bound newspapers like this. The ads, the articles, the business world, everything, it just really gives you an insight on how different the world is in just 100 years. It's made with inexpensive paper because it's not made to last, you know.
And it costs 2 cents.
So how much do you want for this? Because I could just nerd out on this for hours on end.
I was hoping to get $500 for it.
You know, generally newspapers are worth next to nothing.
I know.
Okay. It is cool that you have a whole month of August. I'll give you $250.
$250, huh?
I really have no idea if I'll ever be able to sell this, but I will probably peruse it for a few days.
How about $300?
How about $250? I think it's really, really neat. It's really cool to a nerd like me, and someone might pay me $400 for it if I'm lucky.
Right.
But that's if I'm lucky.
All right, you got a deal.
All right, sweet. I'll meet you right over there. We'll do some paperwork. I'll get you paid.
All right.
This is strictly a nerd purchase, but I can't help myself sometimes.
What do we got?
I got something you're gonna want today. It's a fireman's pen from New York.
Take a look at it. So you don't sound like you're from New York, my man. Where'd you get it?
I got it from a buddy of mine named Pete. It's kind of got an interesting story about it. His great-grandmother just recently passed away, and they found a box that she had secretly hid in the house that had some letters in it. And these letters apparently were from a New York Fire Department guy that she had had an affair with.
All right, so Pete's grandma was a little bit of a Rolling Stone, huh?
Apparently so.
Okay.
We believe it's from the ladder company number 51, engine number 35. It's over 150 years old. Seems very valuable to me. The New York Fire Department is the best in the world. I think I want to sell it today because really I don't have any use for it, and I think it's a pretty nice piece.
These are interesting, man. The fire departments were all pretty much a volunteer thing.
Okay.
And different fire department companies would show up and start kicking each other's ass over who got to put out the fire. They wanted to go loot the burned building, or they wanted to, tell whoever's fire they put out that they wanted to get paid.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a real interesting time back then. I can tell you what would be kind of scary, though, is trying to put out a fire without, a real great, water system back then.
Sure.
You didn't have fire trucks with massive pumps on them and generators and all that stuff. No oxygen masks, no respirators. I can imagine it being pretty damn scary.
I would think so.
The New York Fire Department is one of the most well-known fire departments in the country. There's a lot of people, especially retired firefighters, that love to collect that history. So depending on how old this is, this could be a really neat item. How much are you looking to get for it?
About 500.
About 500. Here's the deal, my man. I don't believe it's worth 500, but I got a feeling they're real collectible. The firefighters have and always will be a real proud group of people, just like police officers. So they've always collected this stuff. Let me have a buddy of mine come down and take a look at it. I'd really like to know how old it is before I could give you any kind of value on it, all right?
Okay.
All right, hang out, take a look around the store. I'll grab you when he gets here, okay?
All right, thank you. If they would bring in an expert, I would love it. No, I'm positive it's real based on what I know.
Ah, this is the badge you called me about. Well, do you mind if I take a little look at it?
Oh, feel free.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. The Newark Fire Department's the largest fire department in the United States, over 10,000 members.
Oh, wow.
It is a huge fire department, has a history that goes back to New Amsterdam, to the 1640s. The company, the 51 refers to the Relief Hose Company. It was a particular volunteer fire department. And I called a friend of mine who's one of these fanatical fire collectors. And when you told me it was badge 35, he looked that up, and we were able to find out whose badge this was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was a particular individual, a fellow named Thomas McCrane, and he was a bachelor, actually lived at the firehouse, and this would have been the badge that he would have carried. So what are your concerns on the piece?
Is it real? And I wanted to kind of get a better date on it.
Jim, well, and the pin is right. Yeah, it's real. It's original. And I know that this particular badge was issued in 1865. So it was probably made a little earlier than that, but that's when it was issued.
Well, Mark, you're the best. Thanks for coming in, man.
Not a problem.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much. Very good to meet you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Personally, I like badges. I've always found them interesting. They speak a lot to the history of different forces. And to see one in this kind of condition at this age, this is a very nice piece.
You still want $500 for it, huh?
Sounds like it's worth it.
Even with all that great history behind it, I'd offer you about $150, man.
So why do you think it's only worth $150? I mean, this is the New York Fire Department, and it's a big deal.
There's just a lot of them out there, man. No one ever threw away Grandpa's fire department badge. No one ever threw away Grandpa's police badge.
Right.
You know, they've all been passed down generation to generation, and I am, about $150 is where I'm at.
I don't know, man. It seems like to me it should be worth a little bit more. Give me 300. At least you can do 300.
I'll go two. $200, that's what I'll do.
That's the best you'll do.
Absolutely, positively.
All right.
All right, deal.
Thanks, bro.
Meet me over there, I'll write you up.
All right. They only give me $200 for it, but I'm in Vegas. I'm gonna do something great with the money.
What do we got here?
This is something you've probably never seen before.
I've seen a speaker before.
I decided to come down to the pawn shop today to try to sell my Bullhorn speaker from Ebbets Field. I'm looking to sell it because it really doesn't fit with my baseball collectible room anymore. I would hope to get at least $500, $600 for it, but I'm not gonna walk out the door with less than $350. This is from Ebbets Field in New York.
Okay.
When it was torn down, and I was able to purchase it.
You got any paperwork saying it's from?
Yes, I do. I have a certificate and a listing from auction.
All right.
Ebbets Field is such a historic stadium.
You got some pictures?
Yes, I do.
So did you ever go to Ebbets Field?
No, I never made it there, son. But it was quite a stadium.
There was some World Series played there against the Yankees, right?
Yep.
Ebbets Field was home to the Brooklyn Dodgers, and it's where Jackie Robinson became the first black player in the major leagues. But when they tore it down, they didn't save much of it. There's actually footage of Ebbets Field being torn down with the seats still in it. So this speaker is a rare piece.
They really don't make speakers like this anymore, and there's a reason why. Back then, there was a problem with the magnets. They didn't have the current type of magnets they have right now. So they had to make them like this because they had to project them to different parts of the field, because if they made it a normal speaker shape, you wouldn't be able to hear it. I mean, I guess it's in relatively good shape. It's a speaker. There's nothing really super special about it.
Made out of metal.
The thing that really makes it special, Jackie Robinson was probably announced through this speaker.
Yeah.
The speaker also works. We actually had it hooked up to an amplifier.
People who grew up rooting for the Brooklyn Dodgers would die to have something like this. It's not something that'll fetch a huge amount of money, but if I can get it for a decent price, there's definitely a market for it. So what do you want to do with it?
I'm looking to sell it.
Okay, and what are you looking to get out of it?
Looking for about $500.
I was thinking more like 200 bucks.
Could you do 4?
I'll go 300 bucks.
375?
Why don't we just quit arguing? I'll give you $350 and I'll be stuck with the damn thing.
Okay, I'll take $350.
Okay.
Okay, appreciate it. He lowballed me with the $200 offer. There was no way he was gonna get it for $200. I knew I could get more money for it. I'm walking out of the shop now with $350. I'm gonna go have a good meal.
What do we have here?
It's the entrance sign to the New York Stock Exchange building from the early 1900s.
It's an impressive looking sign. And do you know much about it?
It's solid bronze, weighs 70 pounds.
Okay. You work out? This thing looks heavy.
I'm here today to sell the sign that I have from the New York Stock Exchange building, circa 1900. It weighs 70 pounds and it's solid bronze, and it measures 3 feet wide by 1.5 feet high by 1 inch thick. I bought this at an estate auction, and when I saw it, I really wanted it. I'd like to get $100,000 for this sign. If I can make a sale today, I'd like to help my twin granddaughters go to college.
New York Stock Exchange is the second stock exchange. The first stock exchange was in Philadelphia. That was the curbstone exchange because they literally were on a street and there was one guy calling out the stocks who was standing on a curbstone. And that, my understanding, that's sort of eventually melded into the American Stock Exchange. The American Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange, those two stock exchanges literally built America. So where did you get this?
I bought it from an estate auction from a longtime fine arts collector about 12 years ago.
Okay. How much you want for it?
100,000.
All right. And you have no paperwork or anything else like that with it?
No, nothing. There was no COA that came with it or anything like that.
Okay. Well, I hate to tell you this. I don't think this was at the New York Stock Exchange. It says Stock Exchange Building. It's a misprint.
Wow. I didn't even, I've never saw that.
And we don't have the part of the G broke off. That is an actual C there. You can see the way they made this G right here. It goes up like that. There's a C. Someone made this and they had to throw it out. The casting is all wrong.
Well, that shocks me.
Someone bought it as a curiosity, or someone bought it without realizing it was a misprint and was never on the building.
Like myself.
I'm sorry about that. I mean, but I appreciate you making me laugh. Have a good one.
Thank you.
If Chum was in charge of my signage, it would probably be the Golden Sliver shop.
So what do you got here?
Well, I have an antique Manhattan Arms firearm.
Okay. So you got a permit for this thing?
No, do I need one?
No, not in this state.
Okay, good, because I don't have one. I came into the pawn shop today to try to sell my Manhattan Arms gun. I'm getting married tonight. We're actually getting married like a block from here, so I'd love to walk out of here with anything above $500 for the gun. And I'm going to buy my soon-to-be wife a wedding present with the money.
So where'd you get it?
I bought an estate sale, and that was in the bottom of a trunk.
Okay. It was called a Pepperbox because it looks like a Pepperbox. There's 5 barrels there. You'd load each one of them. You'd point it, and the barrels would revolve. And this thing was not very accurate. Anything over 5 feet is your best guess is where this bullet's going. It was not real high tech. Notice there's no sights on it. There's nothing for aiming.
Nothing.
This gun is by no means accurate, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable. Back then, they were always trying out new stuff, but it didn't always work out. Basically, they shot from the hip and hoped to hell they hit someone. If not, hopefully the other guy missed too.
I couldn't figure out how you were supposed to load it.
Yes, this was like
I mean, it looked,
the most dangerous thing in the world.
it looked pretty rough.
First, what you do is you put powder in there, put a little patch, and then you put your ball in each one of them, then you pack them down. And then you would pull this up like this, okay? You would hold it up like this with your thumb. You'd put a cap in there, a cap in there, a cap in there, a cap in there, and you would leave one without a cap on it.
Okay.
Because if you had a cap in there and this was resting on top of it, the second you knocked this against something, it would go off. Colt made the first practical revolver, and a lot of companies wanted to cash in on the fact that his patents were expiring. So a bunch of guys in New Jersey got together and made the Manhattan Manufacturing Company. That's what this is right here. And they started the company before the patents expired, so they had to make something. They came up with this. The second they got Colt's patents, they stopped making these. And the reason why is no one wanted these. You know, because a Colt had a cylinder here and one barrel, like a modern revolver.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
This was big, bulky, and expensive to manufacture.
Okay.
They made this because they couldn't make the good gun.
Okay.
This didn't even compare to the Colt. It wasn't even close, but it was a piece of history and it is unique. Did you want to pawn it or sell it?
Honestly, I'd like to sell it. I've never been one into hunting or killing Bambi, so I'm good with selling it.
Yeah, because this wouldn't kill Bambi. Bambi would run up and beat the out of you after you shot it with this. Before I make an offer, I'd like someone to take a look at it.
Okay.
If it's in working order, it's going to be worth a little bit more money.
Okay, good.
My buddy's got a shop here in town. We'll have him check it out, and we'll talk about it. How's
All right,
that?
good. Sounds great.
Thanks.
Hey, look who's here.
Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Good. What fine quality collectible did you bring in this time?
Oh, I brought in this. I want you to check it out.
Ah, old Pepperbox, huh? Manhattan Arms, wow. And I'm the godfather here at the gun store. Anything that comes in that's old, they come to me. That's a cool gun, it's in nice shape. 1857. They only made out 3,000 of these. And they made a 3-barrel, a 5-barrel, and a 6-barrel. Some of them you had to hand turn to pull the trigger. This one here rotates all by itself. Couldn't hit nothing with it beyond 10 feet. Across the card table type gun. Yeah, that's about it. Popular with gamblers, ladies, little on the garter. You know, just something small you can conceal for self-protection. So, Rick, what's your concerns with this thing?
I just wanted to know what it was worth, and can I fire it?
We can fire it. We can put a cap on it, a little powder in it, see what happens, but, you know, it's old. We don't want to make too big of a bang.
So what do you think it's worth?
I've seen them as high as 8.5 down to, you know, 300. I say this one's about in the middle, about 5.
Okay. So how much did you want for it?
Well, I originally was thinking 500 would be fine.
Well, I can't do 500 on it when I'm going to maybe sell it for that.
I realize you need to make
you know, I'd give you like $200 for it.
Yeah, I'd like to get a little more than that.
Really?
Maybe I can meet you more towards the middle.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you 200 if it doesn't shoot, 300 if it does.
Okay, that's
All
fine.
right, sounds like a deal.
Deal. Who's going to shoot this thing? I'm not going to shoot it.
Chumley?
You don't need him back at the store, do you, Clark?
Not at all.
Not at all, man.
Give me the damn gun.
There's always a danger when you shoot an old gun like that. It's a couple hundred years old. The metal fatigues, corrodes, rusts. It could actually blow up. All right, Chum, all you gotta do is hang on tight, pull the trigger. It's a real hard trigger pull on it. Shouldn't be a problem.
If you say so.
2 hands.
Chum, it was nice knowing you, man.
Feeling's not mutual.
Ready? There you go. Still got your hand, right?
I got it.
No problem.
All right, you got $300.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Overall, it was a good day. The gun fired. I'm getting $300, and I'm even getting married tonight, so it was a good visit.
I'm in LA at a Hollywood prop house where I'm taking a look at a few items that are for sale. I've already checked out a model of the spaceship from Spaceballs, but before I make an offer on that, I want to see what else is for sale.
So right here, you recognize this?
No.
Okay. This is the antique hand mirror that Cameron Diaz used in Gangs of New York.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah. It's a one-of-a-kind piece that actually was purchased in Italy specifically for the film. And it's very unique because there's actually a cover on the mirror itself that folds out to reveal the mirror. So it's not just your standard hand mirror.
This is pretty cool, man. Gangs of New York, classic movie, one of my favorite movies. It was made in 2002, directed by Martin Scorsese. It's a time period of about 1862, New York. You got the 5 Points and all these different immigrants kind of battling for their place in New York. And Cameron Diaz played like a pickpocket thief, which was different for her, you know? And she ended up being the love interest of Leonardo DiCaprio. She would hold the mirror up and look behind it, and as the suitors would pass, she'd be like, no. And then when Leo passed her, who could pass up Leo? So she sees him and selects Leo to dance with, and it was a really cool classic scene. Can I take a look at it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow, I kind of look like Leo.
I think so.
Do you know how much the owner's looking to get for this mirror?
I do. He's looking to get $5,000.
Okay, not really sure, but this is a movie-used prop. It's freaking awesome. So this is something I'm super interested, probably because I love the movie so much, though. I love it. I love the Spaceball Winnebago.
Yeah.
I'd like to have someone come down and take a look at this stuff, though. Can I give him a call?
Yeah, you can. Sure.
All right,
Have him come down.
Yeah, give me just a few minutes, and I'll get him down here.
All right, sounds good. Now, I know most all the prop masters in town, even prop masters out of town. So I'm just curious to see who Chum's gonna bring in to authenticate these items. It'll be interesting.
So you guys know each other, I'm taking it?
Yeah, see, Dennis was one of the founding members of this prop house. It's the reason I'm working here today.
He was the prop master on both of these.
I haven't seen these in a long time.
So what can you tell me about these?
This is a one of a kind. The only other model that was built was made from this style and used in the actual film.
Is that the same size as this one, or would it have been a little bigger?
Larger.
Okay, so there's only 2 models out there, and this is the actual prototype, pretty much, is what you're telling me?
This is where it started.
What kind of value can you put on this?
I would say this would be worth a minimum of $12,000.
Okay. As cool as this is, I mean, the mirror to me is really, really cool as well. Gangs of New York, classic movie. Cameron Diaz actually held this in her hand on the screen.
Absolutely.
What can you tell me about this mirror?
Well, I found the mirror in Rome, and my original idea with this, that if you didn't like this one, I was going to give it to my wife. And naturally, Marty picked this mirror. I've got a photo here that is from the film with Cameron using the mirror. It shows that it's the exact one that you have here. Most of the time, the mirror in the shot was seen from the back because they wanted to see Cameron's beautiful face. So all of this wood graining and everything like that is exactly the same.
The beautiful, talented Cameron Diaz. So what kind of value can you put on the mirror here?
It's probably worth around $5,000.
Okay. So we've got a $12,000 value on the Winnebago from Spaceballs.
Yes.
And a $5,000 value on the prop mirror from Gangs of New York. Well, I appreciate you coming down.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure I'll be calling you in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
See you,
Dennis.
Marty.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Well, loved what he had to say about both of these items. I don't know if I can purchase them both today. I think on the Winnebago, I'm gonna pass. I mean,
Okay.
It's really, really cool, but I absolutely love the mirror, and I don't want to leave here without
Because
it.
you looked like Leo when you looked in it, isn't it? Isn't it?
I mean, I
Come
think I
on.
look like Leo in any mirror, but this one's just a little more. What's the bottom dollar on the mirror? Would you take $1,700 for it?
I know the guy wants $5,000, so yeah, that's not gonna cut it. You gotta give me a little more.
Would you take $2,200 for it?
How about we do $35?
How about $2,500, and then you can go home knowing that you made me happy because I get to look like Leo every day.
Yeah, I can live with $2,500. $2,500, you got it.
All right, let me just make sure I still look like Leo before I spend $2,500.
All right.
You are sexy. I'll take it. Should we go downstairs and get your guy over here so we can get him paid?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like that, man. For $2,500, yeah. I think he's gonna be happy with that. So I'm happy. If he's gonna be, I'm happy. Works out.
What do we have here?
Got an old fire logbook here from FDNY.
New York City Fire Department?
New York City Fire Department, yeah. Engine 48, which is out in the Bronx, and it's from 1913.
Okay, 1913, all right. Definitely a different world. Those early volunteer fire departments, some of them would actually show up and demand money before they put out the fire.
I came to the pawn shop today to try to sell my vintage 1913 FDNY fire logbook. I work as a fireman, and when I graduated the academy, it was given to me as a gift. My collection's pretty full right now, and I kind of need to thin it out a little bit. These fire logs are actually pretty standard in the fire service. It's just pretty much a record of the whole entire day's events, from fires to entries in here talking about they got 5 bushels of hay for the horses.
Yeah, back then it wasn't a fire truck going there. It was a horse-drawn steam pumper, like a carriage with a big steam engine on the back of it that pumped water that they brought with them. The New York Fire Department's roots go all the way back to the 1600s, when it was still New Amsterdam. The first firefighters were called prowlers because they would roam around the city looking for fires to fight. Fires have been a scary thing ever since cities were invented. A lot of the firefighting was about containing the fire and not as much as putting it out, because they couldn't take as much water with them. Can you imagine just fighting a fire nowadays with just a few hundred gallons of water?
Yeah. In the logbook, they talk about hook and ladder 37. What they were they're pretty much the trucks. No water on them, but they carried a lot of ladders and a lot of hooks. They used to have big steel rings on these houses, and they could actually hook up to that one steel ring, hook them to a horse-drawn carriage, and then actually collapse the house down.
I mean, if you can tear the building down into the street instead of it falling onto the other buildings, less chance of the fire spreading. And that was the big fear, that the whole city would go up in flames. These logbooks are an amazing window into the life of a firefighter 100 years ago. But the people who collect firefighting memorabilia want something they can hang on a wall. So this is a much tougher sell. What'd you want to do with it?
I was hoping to sell it.
Okay. From a historical standpoint, it's neat, it's interesting. From a monetary value, it's not going to bring the money as something that's visual. I mean, wouldn't you rather have a 1913 fire extinguisher and you can display it on a shelf somewhere, as opposed to, what's that? What's a book?
Yeah, but this is from New York, though.
FDNY is pretty cool and pretty neat. I'll give you that. But how many fire stations are there in New York?
Close to 200.
Okay, and each one of these have at least 1,000 of these logs. It's a question of supply and demand. I could be wrong, but it's not for me. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
On a historic level, I think this logbook is pretty damn cool. But unfortunately, I don't think it's worth that much. And in general, if my offer is going to be a lot less than what the customer's expecting, I'd just rather pass than insult them.